Thank you, Jamaica. Okay, we'll be happy to take any questions from the media.
I have a question. Could you just explain, maybe it's in the press release.
Sure.
I thought the way the Senate operated was it was the IDC and the Republicans making the decisions. How did the Senate Democrats?
Sure. Well, the one House budget bill put forward by the majority included only a $200 million increase over what the governor proposed. Okay, the Senate Democrats were part of the picture in terms of defeating that proposal. They voted no on the one House budget bill. They stood up and fought. They demanded more money than what was in there. And in the final outcome of the negotiations, there was another $300 million above what the Senate Republicans and IDC had proposed. Normally, that would be sort of a high watermark, and so the fact that it was exceeded was very unusual. And it was the combination of all the advocacy that was going on, but that stand by the Senate Democrats was an important part of it.
Is there any reason to believe that there are Republican candidates for Senate who could deliver the same thing as you're saying the Senate Democrats deliver?
We're not speculating on what people could or couldn't do. We're simply focusing on what's being said now that's not accurate and trying to straighten, set the record straight in terms of what people have actually done. So, we're not speculating or saying, that Republicans could or couldn't do this. We're just saying they should accurately represent the facts. They should not be saying that, the Senate senators gave fewer education dollars for our schools, when in fact those senators held out and won more education dollars for our schools. And the Senate majority wanted fewer education dollars, proposed fewer education dollars than what the Senate Democrats were fighting for. Yes?
The slanderous mailers that you're referring to, who exactly did they target and what did they say?
Well, I got one here that went, it was targeting Terry Gibson that specifically says, that he got, quote, fewer education dollars for our schools. They have one for Cecilia Ketchik, which shows her with a rake, taking money from her district, to send to other parts of the state. And again, it's inaccurate. This tells the facts right here that those type of attacks are misleading and don't do a service to the public.
It seems like they're working though, right? You saw the polls this week where Kasich is behind and Gibson's behind and O'Brien's behind. They're all these upstate Democrats are behind the Republicans.
Some of those public opinion polls, some of the ones that are public, don't always have the best track record of projecting the actual results. So, attack ads, people do attacks because they think they will work. I think if the facts are out there and people can weigh the facts, then they can make their own judgment. People know that political mailers are misrepresentative often. So if the facts are out there, they're reported, then it gives people the opportunity to make their own judgments.
While the Majority Coalition brought forth a smaller education proposal that was ultimately approved, were there dissenting members of the IDC or the Republicans that wanted more school aid?
They all voted for that proposal. They all voted. All the Senate Republicans and IDC members voted for that proposal, and all the Democrats voted against it. So again, we're not speculating about what could happen. We're just looking at what did happen.
Related question. I was reading today that the College Board came out with a report yesterday that said 60% of high school students in New York are not prepared for college-level work. I was wondering if you're familiar with that and could talk.
I did not have a chance to see that report. I'm familiar with that problem in general. You have a serious contrast between what's happening in higher need districts and in wealthier and even middle class communities, and in the wealthier communities, they have a lot more classroom resources in terms of advanced placement courses, including in terms of art and music, in terms of more supports for students, and those pay off. Those pay off. And there is one thing that those things all have in common: they all do cost money. If you compare New York to New Jersey, the outcomes in New Jersey are much better in New York. The high school graduation rates are much better in New York, primarily in lower income school districts. And the difference is that they actually do a better job overall of targeting resources to high needs districts and investing in schools than we do.
Should the governor or the Assembly Democrats get some credit as well for the increase in money?
Certainly the Assembly Democrats should. I think the governor started out at $600 million, so he was sort of the low bar. The Assembly Democrats definitely deserve a good share of the credit. So we're not saying that the Senate Democrats are the whole reason this happened. We're just trying to set the record straight.
Do you have any opinions or plans to continue funding upstate schools farther, kind of increasing this trajectory?
Well, yeah, we are. We put out a report just a couple months ago showing that our schools across the state was $5.9 billion behind what's been promised to schools, and that there's a surplus going into next year. We think the state needs to make a major down payment on that surplus. We're looking for a $2 billion increase in school aid next year. So there was. So yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you very much. Apparently none of you guys got pulled away by the gas main leak that happened here in Albany. The TV stations were pulled away at the last second. So thank you all for being here, and have a good day.